All right, week 15 is over, and yes, I just looked at the schedule just to make sure I had the week 15 down. A lot of stuff has happened this week. I feel like in all of sports, or I guess the main ones
Yeah,
that are going on right now. But Brian, what's up, man?
doing good, doing good. I think you're right. This is the time of year, like around the holidays, where sports kind of. I think this is where NBA picks up a little bit. You have bowl games, and this year, obviously, with college, you have the college football playoffs, which is exciting. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And then NFL is coming down to that. It's the playoff push, right? Like as a fan, you want your team to be involved around this time of year. People off work, people off school. It's fun when whether you're kind of in the hunt or not, you see your team name up there in the NFL, like in the hunt. It means you're still alive and you have a chance. Like I remember growing up, and that was always the biggest thing. Is like, yeah, Philly. That was always the biggest thing. Is your team still in the hunt? You just wanted to see the little graphic. So it's just a fun time of year for sports because a lot of people will be off work and in school the next week or so, and it's just a lot of good something crazy. What is it? There's game tomorrow. There's an NFL game tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday again. It's like there's
Yeah.
NFL like 8 of the next 10 days, and obviously throwing college in there with the not only bowl games but the playoffs themselves, and it's a good time to be a fan and a gambler.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like doing this podcast or getting more into sports gambling. It's probably a little bit of a mix of both, but I've paid attention more to sports, and I've always paid attention a lot to sports, but more now than ever.
Yeah,
Even like college football, I feel like I'm pretty well versed on like what's going on, and I never really cared unless Cincinnati was in the mix somehow. But like I've listened to a lot, I've watched a lot of college sports and in the NFL. Like best thing I've ever done was subscribe to SiriusXM during the NFL season because every Sunday I go to the driving range and I just listen to football the whole time.
yeah,
And I only watch like the night games because I'm practicing and stuff, but it's pretty wild. Like I feel like I know a lot of stuff. Like I've had like a bunch of arguments with my friends about like Josh Allen MVP versus Lamar, or who I've gotten like this heated argument with one of my buddies about how I think AJ Green is a top 10 receiver, which I don't think is that outlandish. I think he's top 5. But like I was sending voice messages, which I never do, and I sent like a 3-minute long reason why the Steelers defense is screwed because of the TJ Watt
industry.
injury, and how AJ Brown is rated the best receiver in the NFL when against man-to-man defense. And it was like a 3-minute voice message, and after I did it, I was like, oh my god, I know way too much about this.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I do agree with you. I think part of it is probably the podcast and just paying attention to sports more in general. But I think the college one is a big one because, like, I'm the same way. I don't really have a college team. Never really had a college team. I went to a college that didn't really have good sports teams. Like, just NFL was bigger in my family growing up. But I always loved watching college football. Like, I would always like didn't really pay attention a lot during the early games, but anytime there's a big matchup, I always watch it. But I feel like this year, maybe it's because the college football playoff is different this year. So I feel more invested in like there's 12 teams instead of 4. And it's been kind of fun to watch that. So I do agree with you. I feel like I definitely paid, not that I, again, like you said, not that I never paid attention. I like, it's my life revolves around sports. It's what I do. Like anything, I try and find something on to watch at night. It's usually sports. But I agree with you. I feel like I'm more invested, I guess is the right word, than I usually am. And making sure I don't want to miss anything. It's fun though. It's like, especially this time of year, it's just fun this time of year to have sports on, have a drink or two, and enjoy some good company. So I'm with you.
Yeah. And during the day I listen to only sports podcasts. Like
same.
I have like I'm subscribed to like a bunch of different sports shows and like comedy podcasts, but I don't even listen to the comedy podcasts because I just want to stay up to date because the comedy podcasts are like evergreen. You can listen to them in July when they come out in December, but you can't listen to like the Bill Simmons podcast that came out April 20th,
right?
And it's now September or whatever,
because it
so
doesn't mean it. Yeah, it doesn't
it
mean
means
anything
nothing.
anymore.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
It's like they expire the next week
Mm-hmm.
because, those takes are cold and, it's whatever. But a lot
It
happened
is.
this week.
Well, yeah, just on that
And
real quick, it
okay.
is funny sometimes when you go back to this, especially like if you compare like NFL season, what people were saying at the beginning of the year compared to what
Yeah.
they say now. Like it's just crazy how much changes, and it is fun to go back and look at those sometimes. Like if you're a fan of a specific team, you probably spend the offseason listening to what people have to say like about your team, and then you go back or you remember what they said beforehand, and you're like, holy shit, what a different,
Yeah.
like nowhere near where we thought it
Well,
would be.
for example, a couple weeks ago, I was talking about how the Bucks weren't that good in basketball and they just won the NBA Cup. And I know that really, we'll get to that in a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but like they look like a completely different team now. And like what I said, I look like an idiot, so, but at the time they were playing like shit. So it's whatever. But all
Yep.
right, NFL.
Yeah.
Brian, what stood out to you
All
this
right.
week? What's your main story that came out or thing
So
that happened?
it's like you're getting to that point in the year, the season where there's teams that are out of it that are already eliminated for the playoffs, so you can't really take much away from what's going on there.
Yeah.
You have your teams that are definitely in the playoffs fighting for seeding, and then you kind of have that middle ground that kind of in the hunt that I talked about earlier, where you are still fighting for a playoff spot,
Mm-hmm.
and it feels like a lot of those are starting to like you're really starting to see separation between some of those. Like the AFC playoffs is essentially down to you got Ravens, Steelers, Houston, Bills, and Chiefs that are in. They're going to be in. You got the Chargers and Broncos. Like they both have over 90% chance to make the playoffs. Like your AFC is almost solidified. You do have a couple teams in the hunt in the AFC. You have the Bengals at 6-8. You have the Colts, and you have the it's Bengals, Colts, and Dolphins all sitting at 6-8 with an outside chance. So it's just interesting to see what happens and playing out the playoff scenarios. So, for example, as a Bengals fan, sitting at 6-8, this game on Thursday is huge because if the Chargers beat the Broncos and we beat the Browns, we then play head to head against the Broncos.
We, as in the Bengals.
Yes, we as in the Bengals. I consider myself
Okay.
part of the team. Yes. So Bengals essentially need either the Chargers or the Broncos to lose out, and they need to win out, and they'll make the playoffs. And Broncos play Chargers, then they play the Bengals, and then they play the Chiefs. So there is a somewhat realistic scenario where
Wait, you mean Broncos?
yeah, so Broncos play Chargers,
Okay.
then the Bengals,
Okay.
then the Chiefs. So if they lose out and Bengals win out, they're in the playoffs. So it's one of those things that the hype is coming back a little bit. The percent chance is still so low, but as a fan, like you just want to stay in it as long as possible. Kind of like what I said at the beginning.
Saying there's a chance.
Yes, there is a chance. It's like a 5% chance right now. But if the Broncos lose tomorrow against the Chargers, very possible, and the Bengals beat them in Cincinnati next week, it's up to like 50-some% chance that they make the playoffs. So it's crazy how like things change so quickly. So that's what I'm watching. Like as a fan, I'm cheering against teams that will help the Bengals make the playoffs. Obviously, I want the Bengals to win, but it also puts into perspective how frustrating the season's been. If the Bengals would have beat the Chargers on that Sunday night game where we missed 2 field goals to take the lead at the end of the fourth quarter, they would be the 7 seed right now. And the season the Bengals had, they'd be sitting at 7-7 with the 7 seed ahead of the Chargers because they had the head-to-head win. And it's just crazy to think about, like the ups and downs from this season and how shitty they've looked at times. They could still have easily made the playoffs and controlled their own destiny if a couple of those games, if any of those games that we've talked about that they should have won, they won, and it just sucks. But I'm still in it. I'm still excited. It's like that's kind of my take from this weekend is Bengals still have a chance, which is fun. And then in the NFC,
I'm glad you're smiling about it. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, hey, you want to play meaningful football around this time of year, and it makes it fun. If the Chargers lose, if the Broncos win tomorrow, Broncos come to playoff spot, and then it's kind of over because then the Chargers play like Patriots and it's not Jets, Giants or something to end the season, so they're not going to lose either of those games. So season's pretty much over if the Broncos win tomorrow, but hope's still alive, which is fun. And then in the NFC, like I think the NFC playoff picture is a little bit murkier. It's not as wide open as what we're seeing right now with the AFC, because the AFC is kind of you kind of have your 7 teams essentially, unless something crazy happens. But you got Detroit, Philly, who lock up spots. Minnesota's locked up a spot at 12-2, and then you got the Packers who are going to make the playoffs at 10-4. Commanders at 9-5 are kind of sitting pretty, but then you got the Rams at 8-6 battling it out for that division, and Tampa Bay at 8-6 battling out with that division, in Atlanta and the Cardinals. So like there's a lot going on in the NFC, which I think is exciting. So like those are the fun parts to me, is watching those games and how the rest of those season, how the playoff picture will end up being. So the NFC definitely a little bit more of a contested playoff run here at the end. So that's the stuff I'm looking for. And then in regards to last week specifically, a lot of good games like Lions, Bills, 48-42. Insane.
That game was ridiculous.
And something I was thinking about during this game that I want to talk to you about. So it's the only two games, I believe, where both teams have scored. Like Bills have been a part of the only two games this year where both teams have scored over 40 points. And it was the last 2 weeks. They lost last week. They won this week. Do you think the Bills defense at the end is going to prevent them from potentially winning a championship? Because giving up 40 points back-to-back weeks is insane. That's tough to do.
I think I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I don't think their defense is that bad.
Yeah.
I just think they've gone against two teams that are red hot offensively. I think that their schedule is going to allow them to try some things out.
Mm-hmm.
And again, man, they're just getting some guys back from injury. I think they'll be okay. I don't think their defense is that bad. I think a lot of it is Matt Stafford and Jared Goff with, that offense. Because they haven't been that bad all year. I was looking at their games earlier today, actually, and it's not like they're giving up, 30 points every week. It's just, I think they ran into a Rams team that is coming together. They're healthy again. It was a statement game. They needed a win, and it was a shootout. And then last week, we knew it was going to be like that, but also it was kind of like I feel like the whole game, I feel like the Bills were in control, and the score was more of like, some garbage time at the end, like that last touchdown the Lions had was, they were just playing prevent defense and kind of trying to slow down the game, because they needed another onside kick to even have a chance. So you know what I'm saying? So it's almost like it's almost like in basketball, you're down 7 and there's like 15 seconds left. There's really no chance unless you're Trace McGrady with the Houston Rockets. But do you follow or no?
Yeah, no, I get exactly what you're saying. Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying. So
because the Bills were in control the whole game. The whole game they were up.
Yeah, no, they were
21-7. I feel like they were up 2 scores, and then like the weird onside kick that Campbell did with 12 minutes left, and
they were what? It was a 10-point game at that point where he did that onside kick. Like,
yeah, that was the closest the game was.
Yeah,
but I mean that was basically just like, hey, my defense. We have no one on defense anymore. Like we're asking fans from the stands to come down and throw on some pads. That's literally how it felt. Like they couldn't do anything. So, and the onside kick was an unbelievable onside kick that Matt Collins just made an unbelievable play on. It was very fluky, and I understand people are like mad at Dan Campbell taking some of these chances, but he felt like he had to do that, and I kind of agree. He needed to try to do something because they couldn't stop him. Mm-hmm. How many times did the Bills punt? Once?
Probably once.
I think it was one time.
I don't know off the top of my head, but be surprised if it was more than once when he scored 44 points or whatever it was, 48 points.
48.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with you. So it's been weird the last 2 weeks because it was almost the opposite situation. Like last week, the Rams were kind of in control the whole time. The Bills were kind of down by 2 scores. They scored a touchdown at the end and tried to get an onside kick, with 10 seconds left or whatever. They kind of ended the game. We talked about it last week when they snuck it, tried to do a QB sneak with about a minute left, and then they didn't get it, so they had to call a timeout. The game was kind of over at that point because they were down 2 scores. So it felt like the opposite. But yeah, to your point, defense has been fine all year. Like it hasn't really been an issue. They held teams to 10 points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different times this year, which is fantastic. I mean, those opponents, not the greatest in the world, but they definitely held their own in terms of the defense side of the ball. I just think it's interesting that the last 2 weeks it feels like something has been off on the defensive side. Stafford and Goff will do that too. I mean, obviously the Lions offense is super creative, and Ben Johnson's being talked about as the next like McVay or whatever coming out of Detroit, and he'll obviously get a head coaching job next year. The Ravens or the Rams one's one that surprised me a little bit more. Stafford was red hot coming into the game because he had Kupp and Puka back healthy, and we talked about that a few weeks ago, and they're a completely different team since they've been healthy. They kind of shat the bed on Thursday and scored 12 points, still won the game, but it was in a monsoon, so like that's part of the problem there. I just think it's interesting. Like I hope it's one of those things that doesn't hold the Bills back when it comes to winning a championship, because I do think they have what it takes this year. It's just I think it's going to be something to watch the next 3 weeks. They do have the Patriots twice and the Jets, I think, so they should be able to kind of hold their own there. But it'll be interesting to see if the Jets or Patriots are putting up a lot of points. Just might be something to watch as you head into the playoffs.
I agree.
Something to keep an eye on.
I agree, and I just went back to look at their schedule, and they have given up some points. So yeah, I mean, it just depends on who they draw. Like if they play against like the Steelers, they can handle that, or if they play against like even like Kansas City, teams who don't have like great offenses.
Broncos.
But I feel like if they go against the Ravens, that could be scary.
Broncos and Chargers are probably their two most likely first round matchups.
Texans
if they're the
maybe. Texans aren't playing that well though. Yeah, but. Yeah, that was cool. That was a cool game. I'm happy for Josh Allen, but Jared Goff also threw for almost 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. And I keep thinking about that game that he threw 5 interceptions in.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's won a game where he threw 5 picks and then lost a game where he threw 5 touchdowns. That's insane.
That is wild. That is wild. I do have a quick question for you. There's 4 teams that haven't. I don't know if you've seen this, so just stop me if you already know this, but there are 4 teams in the league who haven't scored more than 30 points. Do you know who they are?
Oh, yeah, I have seen it. So I don't, I know the Chiefs are one of them, which is nuts to me that the Chiefs are one of them. It's Chiefs. Let me see if I can get all 4 because I didn't see this, but I don't know if Patriots. Hold on. I know the Jets have, Jaguars.
Hold on. Let me check. I think they have. Wait, no. I have this saved somewhere. Hold on. Okay, no, it's not Jags. Chiefs.
So
Patriots.
One
more NFC and one more AFC.
One more NFC, one more. Who in the NFC? Panthers?
Nope.
What? Who in the NFC?
Eagles division.
Giants.
Yep.
And then
West Coast. Kind of
West Coast. It's in the AFC.
Yep. They played Monday night.
Raiders.
Yep.
Yeah.
3-11, 2-12, 2-12, 13-1.
Unbelievable. It's just crazy. It's that season for the Chiefs. It's just like
it's crazy.
It's that season, and Mahomes got his patented high ankle sprain late in the season out of the way early this year. So high ankle sprain that full participant
early
in practice.
In the season. It's week 15.
But normally he gets it in he's had in the playoffs the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And then you have your. No, I'm not going to talk too much shit because I can't say shit.
These are 13-1.
Yeah, my team hasn't won anything. So, but patented high ankle sprain. Sounds like he was a full participant in practice on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's a bummer. I want to see Carson Wentz.
And Tuesday. Do they play Saturday? Are they a Saturday game this week? I think
They're
they are
Saturday.
Yeah,
they play Wednesday.
Because they play Wednesday, which is also nuts that they have 3 games in a 9-day span. Or is it 10 days maybe? Sunday, Saturday,
10.
Wednesday. That's nuts. Yeah.
NFL
taking over. But one more thing I want to talk real quick on the Lions game. I did want to talk the Lions as well. 2 teams I wanted to talk about this week. Lions felt like this was their year all season, but the injuries, they just keep piling up. Losing David Montgomery, McNeil, their defensive tackle that they just paid, who's been a stud this year.
Yep.
I believe they lost a corner for the season as well. Like 4 more guys went on IR in this past game, like important players, and it feels like they had the team and they had the talent, but these injuries are going to come back and rear their ugly head in the playoffs. Like I don't see how they overcome it.
Yeah, it's tough. It's like it's just like one of those things where once teams feel like they have it, and the Bengals have gone through this, I feel like a million times, but just something happens, like the Carson Palmer injury, or their or like the Lions' whole defense is hurt. And I don't know if you watched that game. Did you watch that game?
Yeah, I watched a good amount of it. Yeah.
Did you see how bad some of their defensive players were? They were just picking on the linebackers the whole game.
Well, I know it was last week, I believe. They signed 2 linebackers off the street like midweek and they started. Like that's how
Yeah.
injured they are. And it's unbelievable. I'm trying to pull up. I know we were looking at it. We were texting back and forth about it earlier. The Lions current number of players on IR PUP are out currently, like designated as out. Lions at 22, the highest in the NFL. Browns at 18, second highest. And then you have a few teams at Dolphins, Giants, Bengals, and 49ers at 15-14. Like, that's insane. They're
That's
still
crazy.
12-2, which is just a testament to the coaching job that Dan Campbell's done and Ben Johnson. Like, they have some great coaches over there. But I just don't know how you was like, you're going to have to go through some version of, maybe even the Packers first round of the like who know, like I don't know who they'll play. Probably not the Packers because Packers probably be the 5 seed. They'll be but yeah, Commanders, some sort of like Packers, Vikings. Like you are going to have a tough time coming out of the NFC with all those injuries.
It just sounds like, I mean, it's kind of like you were talking about with the Bills. Like, do you think that they're going to be able to overcome it with their offense?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the only way they'll be able to is if they play someone with a bad offense and
Correct.
a good defense.
Because their defense is so badly. I'm trying to think. Carlton Davis was the corner that got hurt. Like, starting corner that got, like, it's unbelievable.
Did they sign J.J. Watt?
I mean, if I was him, I would come back for one, like on that Lions team. Absolutely.
I mean, he can go there or the Bills.
Yeah.
I mean, take your choice there. That'd be pretty cool.
I just feel bad for the Lions. Like, this felt like their year to finally.
It's like America's team.
There.
It's like the Cubs in 2016.
Yes,
yeah.
And I think it's going to fall short, and it's going to be sad to watch. But I hope they figure it out. I hope it works. I still think they're doing a great job. But yeah, when you're picking up linebackers off the street to start them against the Bills and stuff, you're in trouble.
Brutal.
So did want to touch on that. I don't know if I'll be placing any futures on them once the playoffs come around for them to win the Super Bowl.
Do you think? Speaking of injuries, do you think the T.J. Watt injury is going to affect the Steelers' seeding?
No, I think he's going to play this week. It sounds like he came out. Yeah, there's some people who are saying he might have broke his big toe, which would have been an issue, but it sounds like it was a low ankle sprain. So I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be fine. I feel like there's a lot of injuries this week that seemed really bad on the surface, like Patrick Mahomes, Geno Smith, another one. I think he practiced in full today as well.
How bad did Sam Howell look?
Dude,
it was so bad.
It was so bad. That was so hard to watch. Like, it was. The funniest thing was
he wasn't that bad last year.
He wasn't. No, he wasn't. Was that the Sunday night game, or was that?
Yeah,
Sunday night game. Chris Collinsworth kept saying, "Man, this guy's a gunslinger. He's gonna and then 3 straight plays after he said that. Well, 3 plays after he said that, he took 3 sacks in a row. Because he was holding on to the fucking ball, and it was just hilarious. It was so funny because Chris Collinsworth. One thing about this guy, he's gunslinger. He's going to throw the ball 3 sacks in a row. Funny.
He had a Jameis Winston light year last year. He had like 21 touchdowns and 21 interceptions.
Yeah, 21 and 21. Unbelievable. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah. So it was one of those weeks with injuries, T.J. Watt included, that I think looked worse than they were, and everyone seems to be able to play this week. Another one I want to touch on: Buccaneers destroying the Chargers. Didn't see that. I was
just about to say we got to talk about Baker.
Yeah, they were up.
Mike Evans.
They were up 17-13. The Chargers going into half, and they blew. They gave up 27 unanswered.
Yeah, I mean it's 27 unanswered. They outscored the Chargers 27-0 in the second half.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Baker, another hell of a game. just under 300 yards, 4 TDs. Mike Evans making his run for his 11th straight season with 1,000 receiving yards, even though he missed like 5 games. I watched a lot of that game just because I had some bets, some betting implications in that game. So it was fun to watch. I think Chargers are another team that I think obviously are going to make the playoffs, but I just don't think they're there yet.
They have no one to throw to.
They have no. Their offense
McConkey's
is
the only
terrible.
guy. Yeah.
They have no run game.
Well, J.K. Dobbins being hurt doesn't help, and
Gus Edwards has been terrible this year.
Yeah, and Quentin Johnston, like he catches an unbelievable catch, but then like he runs a slant and just drops, like a crucial. You need a third down. Who's going to drop it? Probably Quentin Johnston.
Yep. Yeah. So I think that was a tough pill for the Chargers to swallow. They got this Broncos game. Hopefully they bounce back for the Bengals' sake.
Yeah. And really quick before we move on, Kirk Cousins being benched.
I did want to talk about that too. Dude, he has no lower body. Like, did you watch?
None.
I didn't watch much of that game because I was more like I wasn't. Both games sucked on Monday night. The Bears Vikings was so hard to watch, but again, I had more betting implications in the Bears game, so I was paying more attention to that game.
Same. And that I tried to watch the Falcons Raiders, but I'm like, what the fuck am I watching?
So bad.
It was so
I did
bad.
the split screen for a little bit, and I couldn't do it.
Oh, that's what I was doing.
Yeah,
that's what I was doing.
I couldn't really do it. I had to focus on the
do it.
Bears game. But watching Kirk Cousins play, dude, he has no lower. Like
do you think the Achilles thing is kind of like the year after an ACL tear? Like they're back, but they're not fully back. But then maybe in 2 years it's better. Or do you think he's just like almost 40? And same with Aaron Rodgers. Like Aaron Rodgers is starting to play better. Do you think it's like you needed more time, more trust in that ankle?
I think it's a mix of both. I think Rodgers is overall just a better player, better athlete. So like I'm not surprised that he came back better than Kirk Cousins did. I do think Kirk Cousins is hitting the wall. I think he's 36 or 37, whatever he is. I think he's done personally. Like I think Rodgers could play again next year and be fine. I think Kirk Cousins has kind of hit his wall. You can just tell in the difference in the way they move around and how they're throwing the ball, the velocity on the ball.
You don't think another year, like, getting used to, his Achilles popped,
Yeah, he's hard to watch right now.
Or do you think they try to trade? Like, they can't trade him. Who's going to want to trade for him?
So they set up his contract in a way where if you trade him, it's like a $27 million cap hit for the team that trades him. So they set it up so you could trade his contract. But he has a no trade clause, so like he has to agree to the trade. So I think that was
and
part of
his wife's family is from Atlanta.
Yeah, so it's one of those things that I think they probably in the contract negotiations worked it out in a way where if Kirk needs to get traded, he gets to choose where he goes, but it's set up in a way so the team that trades for him can absorb the contract in a decent way. I'm sure that was part of the conversation. I doubt he expected to get traded after 1 year. I know they kept him in the dark with taking Michael Penix. Like he didn't know they were taking him, which I'm sure he was pissed about. But it turned out to be a good pick. Everyone gave Atlanta shit for taking a quarterback after just paying Kirk Cousins. We haven't seen him play yet, but it seems like it was the right call considering where Kirk Cousins is. He has 1 touchdown, 9 interceptions in his last 4 games, I think. Like he is just it. They have a chance to make the playoffs, and
I heard everyone in Atlanta. Everyone in Atlanta has been saying how good Penix has been all year.
Yeah. I have heard that too.
Even in preseason, they were afraid to play him too much because they didn't want like people to be like. I think there's a lot of truth to that.
I do too.
It's
almost like the not Tebow effect, but like when people bring in Tebow and like this mass hysteria to get him to play, even though he sucked.
I think it's more of I'm not trying to compare Penix to Mahomes, but I think it's more of that because all year everyone was talking about you got to watch out for this. Like right before they moved on from Alex Smith. Everyone in the organization's like, even the players are like, you got to watch this guy. Mm-hmm. This guy's unbelievable. And I'm not saying that he's getting that, but it's more of that than, the opposite. So it's
clamoring from fans, pressure.
I'm interested in watching the Falcons this week strictly because of that.
Absolutely. 1,000%. I'm fired up and they're playing the Giants, so they should put up some points. They have a very good offense.
That's a great first game for Penix.
Yes.
He's going to look like a god.
I'm sure that's partially why they did it.
100%.
But Falcons have a great offense, good offensive players. Kirk Cousins is holding back. They needed to make the switch if they wanted to make a playoff run. They have a playoff roster. Their defense is good enough. Their offense is good enough. Quarterback was holding them back. Had to do it. Can't go back now that you did it. He's your
No, you
eighth
can't.
overall pick. You can't really flip back now.
No.
They have to figure out what to do with him in the offseason. But I think he'll get traded somewhere, and he will be
Tennessee.
I think Sam Darnold in Tennessee is a perfect fit.
I agree. I said that last pod. I agree. All right. Anything else from NFL? Again, it was like one of those like we kind of know who's in, who's out, but a lot of injuries. But let's talk about college football really quick.
Yeah.
So how much do you know about like what's going on?
What do you mean?
Like
transfer portal?
No, like
that was a very open-ended question. So
you know what I mean, like the fucking playoff thing.
Oh, the
like, who do you think's gonna win?
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Like,
okay.
What games are you excited to watch? Or
okay, I didn't know if you were talking like the conversations going on
dude,
about
have you done your research on who's entering the transfer portal or not?
Well, I just mean like people are entering the transfer portal on teams that are in the playoff and stuff like that. So it's like a weird dynamic. Like
it is weird. I heard about that today.
Did we talk about Belichick last week?
Yeah, we touched on it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
again, wild.
Indiana Notre Dame is the first game. Not surprised they made that the first game on Friday.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
It is a strange one. SMU Penn State. Penn State got the easiest draw in their draw was so easy in this entire thing. I can't believe the Clemson, Texas. That's an interesting
Wait,
game.
who do you think should have gotten that draw?
Again, it's just part of that whole conversation of like, should the top 4 seeds be the conference winners, or should it be the best 4 teams that are ranked?
It should be the best 4 teams.
That's
the conference
I kind
winners
of
is ridiculous,
and that's where I think it's creating some of this, like SMU. What's SMU? SMU's are they the 11 seed? Yeah, SMU's 11. Who took the? Let me pull up the bracket real quick.
I mean, I think okay, so no matter what they do with college football, everyone's always going to bitch and complain. And that's like kind of like the fun, but also kind of annoying part, just because you can't make everyone happy.
No.
But Boise State having a first round bye, I think it's a little ridiculous.
And Arizona State too. Like that's where it gets a little like that's where. Yeah. So Penn State has SMU and then they get Boise. So like
also, do you know Arizona State was projected to finish last in the Big 12?
No, I didn't know that. No, I did not know that.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's insane.
That's how you know these preseason rankings, and how they do the rankings is a little weird, and how they determine like how many top 25 wins when like what's the difference between a 18th ranked team and like a 26th ranked team. You know, there's really not that big of a difference.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So,
and that
it's just it's weird. It's weird, and then people get mad when you say like SEC is the best conference. Hey, guess what? It is. Right, it is.
This year was weird. This year was weird for it, but yes,
it was, but it is.
It is.
I mean, Big Ten is like it's 1A, 1B, but SEC is usually the best.
Yes,
and I don't like when people are like mad about that.
Especially
and if you're mad about that, you're probably an Ohio State fan.
Yeah, especially adding like Texas in to the SEC makes a big difference. Makes it even more difficult. But like we talked about at the beginning, but I just think they need to eliminate the top 4 seeds of the conference winners because it just creates a like. Would you rather be one Oregon? You get a bye, but you have to play the winner of Ohio State, Tennessee, or would you rather be Arizona State, or would you rather be Texas, who has the 5 seed, and you get to play Clemson, Arizona State? Like, I don't know. It sets up weird to me. Like, or I mean, Georgia's path isn't that bad either. I think Notre Dame's going to take care of Indiana. But it's just like it's a weird setup. Texas and Penn State got like the 2 best draws, and they didn't win their conference. I don't know. Though it's a little weird to me.
Yeah, well, Oregon getting Ohio State, that's brutal. I mean,
they already played once.
Yeah, and they won, but still,
they won, but they won by one.
And they don't even get like. I guess they get to play them at the Rose Bowl, and that's closer to Oregon. I don't know. It is just weird how they do it, and like. Whenever I hear interviews of the committee coming on, I'm like, do you guys live in the same world we live in? Like, who
Yeah,
you guys? What are you guys doing?
yeah. No, I completely agree. So I do have issues with it, but I'm excited to watch a
No,
12
it's
team
gonna be
playoff.
fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be
It's
fun.
gonna be fun. It just the college stuff just blows my mind. I remember real quick story about this. I remember when I was in college, I played college golf, and like we didn't get paid. And if I remember, like if you got a like when I was in school, when you got a summer job, you had to submit all your pay stubs to the compliance thing, and everything was it was just way over the top, and you know, and then again, it was just so they weren't like I was getting paid legally and not like
Yes,
by like
okay.
some booster. And
Under the
again, I
table.
fucking
Yeah.
play golf. Like who the
Hmm.
fuck's gonna pay me, you know? And but I was in some class and I remember writing a paper about why student athletes shouldn't get paid. And one of the basketball players, the starting point guard for our team, we sat next to each other and he was like, "Why are you writing that paper? Like you're a student athlete." I'm like, "I just like dude, we get everything. We get everything. I play golf. We get everything. I could have gone to school with no clothes and just brought boxers or
Yeah.
underwear, whatever the fuck you wear. And I would have been good. I got like, again, everything workout clothes, golf clothes, shoes, anything I wanted. I got tutors. I got uh, literally everything.
Do you get
Stipend.
stipend for food? Yeah, I was gonna say food
Yeah. And
stipend.
then by my junior year, they were allowed to give us food. And so we got like protein shakes, Gatorade, anything Gatorade related. We got uh, food, everything, training room, like, and then also we got treated like we were gods walking around campus. Like if we wore like Letterman jackets around, and like some people made fun of us because they weren't at student athletes, but like we just looked like the kings of campus. And I just played golf, and I can't even imagine what the basketball team got. Like
Yeah, I'm
like
sure.
we got
Yeah.
like the lower level stuff and like some golf equipment, but like anyway, and free tuition. But anyway, so now like with all this stuff, I understand like the first years of the NIL is like ridiculous.
Hmm.
And now that it's treated like almost like a professional thing. And you were just saying how some of these players are entering the transfer portal. Like it's just a mess.
Hmm.
For me, I'm just like, my God, is when people would argue with me on like why college sports are better than the, pros, they would say, oh, because they're playing for their school. That argument's out the
Yeah.
window.
Hmm. I do agree with
So,
that. Yeah.
I don't know. It kind of takes it away a little bit, but
It's free
with what they're
agency.
doing,
It's NFL free agency.
it's turning into professional sports. And,
Hmm.
now like every year we're going to have to, it's going to be like almost like the NBA where you're like, oh, where's this guy going? Or
Hmm.
what are we doing here? Or like one guy's a down year. Now it's a little weird for me. And I know everyone kind of thinks that. And a lot of like the purists really think that. And a lot of the people who don't want to admit that it's like the pros think that. But the playoff bracket thing makes it better, but with like what college sports was built on, like school pride and a commitment to that school, and like when you sign that letter of intent, like I did when I played college sports, was a commitment to that school. It's just all kind of out the window now, and it's kind of sad, but I get it. Get your money, whatever. Everyone's a
Hmm.
sellout now. I don't want to fucking hear it, but
So I will say it's interesting hearing your point of view because you were a college athlete. Because I agree with you. I think most even former athletes would say that the payment, like we should get paid. And I was I was on the side of college players should get paid for their likeness. Like the school's getting paid, might as well take a cut of it. Like schools
okay,
getting
but
paid millions of dollars.
getting paid, they took that like it's literally give an inch, take a mile thing.
Hmm.
Go to the local car dealership and sign autographs or do a photo shoot and um get get paid that way. Not just, oh, here's a booster, he's going to give you $100,000.
Hmm.
That's not that's not NIL. That's
Yeah.
getting paid money. Like go do a commercial. Go, you know, like teach someone how to play golf and make money. Like I wasn't allowed
Yeah.
to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But the NIL thing is name, image, likeness. It's not, hey, a booster wants to give you $100,000 just to be on the team.
Yeah. Here's
So
five
that's
hundred
the
thousand
part
dollars.
I
Yeah.
think, because I think the way they should have done it, social media, get endorsements from social media,
Mm-hmm.
not the boosters, not a salary cap that's going to happen. I, I just like how people view name, image, and likeness is such a weird way of like what it actually meant, because I think that they should have been able, if someone bought my jersey, if I played in the basketball team, if someone bought my jersey, I should have gotten some of that money. That's so different than like how it's actually happening.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. I think it's a super, super fair point. It's good insight from you, from someone who's kind of lived it. Yeah, I do agree. Like the transferring every year just because someone else is paying you $100,000 more or whatever, or $500,000 more.
Like the
It
quarterback from Florida State, he
yeah.
played for like 5 different colleges. Bo
Yes.
Nix played for like 4 different colleges.
Yep. Yep.
That's crazy to me.
Yep.
Like in high school, if you transfer from like, if you're from Cincinnati, from like Mason or from like Moore to Mason, you have to sit out a year.
Yeah.
That's insane. As a high school kid, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
You know, like who gives a shit about that? Like just
Yeah.
let the kid play a sport. Like
Yeah.
sports are meant to teach you things. Like
Yes.
sports are like the ultimate life lesson. Do something wrong, you're penalized. Do something right, you're rewarded.
Right.
That's how it works. That's how life works for the
Yeah,
most part.
I don't want to get too deep into high school sports, but that is a good point. Like in hindsight, looking back on it, transferring from, I can't remember what it was, but yeah, when you transferred, you had to sit out a year. So you're cutting out a year of a high school kid's opportunity to play
Yeah.
or do something that they like and can teach them lessons just because, like, there's no real
Just
reason
because,
behind it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's crazy to me.
But
Anyway,
no,
I'm
that was
sorry.
that was a good segue. Good little impromptu rant on NIL. But we can get it. I know we talked about maybe getting into the games, who we like, who we don't like.
Sorry.
No, it's good. No, I appreciated the insights coming from someone who's lived it. And I think you're right. I think there's valid reasons behind it. Like I like what you said about that signing that letter of intent doesn't mean anything anymore. There's some pride and some that goes into it. And I think that's why a lot of coaches, like you see Saban coming out against it.
That's
like
why
I think
Saban left.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why some of these coaches and God, who's the one who won't even take NIL transfers?
Dabo Swinney.
That's who it is. Yeah, he won't even take transfers because of that reason. So
I respect that, but also you're gonna get left in the dust. Sorry, bud.
Which they
like
almost did
die.
this year.
That's literally what it is.
Yeah, they almost did this year. They made a good comeback though.
All right, let's go through the bracket. Let's make some picks here.
So Indiana Notre Dame -7.5 is what I see it right now for Notre Dame. I like Notre Dame in this game.
Me too.
I don't think Indiana. I mean, they had a good season, but
I wish they weren't. I wish they were playing like, I don't know. I guess
SMU.
That wouldn't happen. I wish they were playing like Penn State.
Yeah,
I don't know. Notre Dame's weird because because their pedigree, they get put on like this pedestal. The non-conference thing, like Notre Dame fans every Notre Dame fan I know has like some excuse of like why it's better, or like why it's not a big deal. But come on, like let's play the sport how everyone else is playing. Let's join a fucking conference. It's so dumb. That's like the Cowboys being in their own conference and just playing at whoever they want, just because they're the Cowboys. Anyway, sorry. I know Notre Dame fans fucking will get mad at me for that, but specific ones that we both know. But like, come on, like, what are we doing? It's so stupid. It's so, and it's dumb too. So anyway, I do think they're gonna win. I think they're gonna blow out Indiana.
I do think they're gonna blow out Indiana.
Yeah.
So I think. Do you want to build a parlay while we do this?
Yeah. Yeah.
This
Sure.
Is a big sigh.
Yeah. I just want to see. I like Cinderella teams and football. That doesn't really happen.
Yeah, but this is the chance for it too. This is the chance for, like, before, when it's like there wasn't with 4 teams, you didn't really have that chance. Now you have that chance because I mean, TCU maybe when they made it to the national championship game, maybe they were Cinderella as the 4th seed.
Cincinnati, ever heard of them?
That was before the playoffs, though. I'm talking playoffs.
That was the playoffs.
No,
they played
that was
the 14 playoff.
Oh, you're right.
They played
Alabama.
Alabama.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I was thinking of Florida, like from 2000 and whatever that was,
The Sugar
2009
Bowl. Yeah, they got
or
destroyed.
whatever it was.
Thanks for reminding me. Too soon.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Penn State SMU. I don't think Penn State is very good.
I think
personally.
Really? They gave Oregon a pretty good game.
Yeah, they did.
And Ohio State a good game. I think that this is a blowout as well at Penn State.
Yeah, okay. 8.5. Penn State 8.5.
If we're gonna build a parlay, let's tease it down to 6.5.
Yeah, okay. Let's do 6.5. I like that better.
Are you building it right now?
Yeah, I'm building it right now. Let's do 6.5.
6.5.
Yep.
Tennessee, Ohio State.
So, but you think they would cover? If you would think they would cover 8.5?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
I know nothing about this SMU team, but I just know that once you get to the Big Ten and SEC, it's a different ball game.
It's a different game.
Same thing with like
Texas -12.
Yeah, I mean, same thing with like. Wait, oh yeah, I kind of like that.
I think there was a little delay there, which is why you heard that. It's
yeah, that's fine. They cut me off with my rant, but it's
sorry. Right. Yeah, I didn't mean to. I didn't hear it until after the fact. I think there was a little bit delay there.
I think Penn State's good. I just don't. I know nothing about SMU, and didn't SMU lose to who they lose to? Clemson.
Clemson. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think Texas is playing that well.
They're not.
But I think they're gonna beat Clemson because Clemson's not that good either.
12 is so many points, though.
What do you think?
Do you like the over 51.5? I don't think I want to take Texas -12. I really don't.
No. I'm good to stay away from that one. But hold on, let me check their schedule really quick. Again, we're like amateurs when it comes to college.
Yeah, definitely not as sharp with college as I am in the NFL. That's for sure.
I'm trying to think. What's the over under?
51.5.
I don't love that either.
Yeah.
They haven't really like scored.
This might be a stay away. I don't know if I want to touch this one. I really don't.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I just and then Tennessee, Ohio State. I think that's probably the best game of the weekend. I don't really think it's close compared to the other ones. I agree. I think that's gonna be a fun game to watch. I think I'm gonna be watching it with a couple of very passionate Ohio State fans, which would be my sister. So do you want to
take Tennessee to cover?
Yeah, I'll take Tennessee to cover. Or do you want to do the over? I actually kind of do like the over in this one too.
What's the over?
46.5. I think Tennessee's going to score points. Ohio State games have been low in general.
Yeah, they have a good defense. That's what I'm worried about.
You want to take Tennessee to cover 7.5? Let's tease them up a little bit.
Okay.
Let's do
10.
Let's do 10. See what the odds are for 10.
Man, I went on a rant there, huh?
Yeah. All right. So if we take Notre Dame -7.5, Penn State -6.5, and Tennessee +10, 428 parlay odds.
I like that. That's good. That's good. You have some of my money, so you can place that. Yeah. So college, it's not as fun as the NFL because it's a lesser product, but it's fun.
I'm excited. Dude,
I've been paying attention, or at least trying to.
I'm excited. I'm very excited. We don't have as many, kind of like you said, as many details into the specifics of the games as we do NFL, but I'm excited to watch
Ohio State's quarterback's name?
God, you put me on the spot. Yes, I do know his name. Fuck.
Yeah.
Why are you fucking doing this to me? I was not prepared for that.
What about Notre Dame?
No, I don't know Notre Dame's quarterback off the top of my head.
What about Texas?
Nope. Oh yeah, well it depends on which one.
Their starter.
Quinn Ewers.
Yeah,
I haven't done my deep dive into
Will Howard.
Oh yeah, Will Howard is he Duke transfer? Yeah.
No, Will Howard, Duke transfer, plays for Notre Dame.
That's
Riley Leonard.
Riley Leonard. Yeah.
We're experts in this.
Yes.
Anyway,
you put me on the spot there where I got nervous.
All right, before we get to our bets, there's one more thing we need to talk about that everyone watched.
Wait, 1 second. 1 second.
Oh, okay.
Where did Ohio State? Where did Will Howard transfer from?
He didn't.
Yeah, he did. He transferred somewhere. I thought it was Duke.
No, that's Riley Leonard to Notre Dame.
K-State, Kansas State. I knew.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, I knew it was somewhere. He sucks though.
I need to clip that part. That would be good. That'd be good.
But yes, no. Once for me, once we get into draft season is where I do like I get super into draft season. But it's usually once NFL season's over. So I get super into it once college football season's over and NFL season's over. So we'll be talking that later. But yeah, so that's college football. Wanted to ask you what your thoughts were on the NBA Cup in general, like what you thought of it, and kind of get an idea of there's a lot going around about the ratings in the NBA and how they're down this year and kind of what your thoughts are and why you think that is.
Okay, so I think I can answer both of those by answering your first question.
Okay.
The NBA Cup, I feel like, was a Hail Mary
Yes.
last year to try to get people to pay attention earlier than Christmas. And I think it's failed.
Yeah.
I think it's a little Mickey Mouse. I think the whole court thing is kind of dumb.
I hate the court thing, dude. I can't stand it.
I haven't heard one good thing about the court thing besides like, oh, wow, this one's different than the other one, you know? And maybe some people like it, but I haven't heard anyone. The NBA Cup is like, it's fine. I don't know if you watched it last night between the Bucks and Oklahoma City, but there's no one in the stands because no one from Milwaukee or Oklahoma City is going to travel middle of the week to go watch their NBA team play this weird tournament that they're trying to pull off. I understand it. I understand why they're trying it. I think it's kind of weird and kind of dumb. And when you incentivize these people to quote unquote play harder for money, fans don't care. The players care. Fans just want to watch a good product. And unfortunately, it wasn't that great of a product. Giannis went off last night, 26, 19, and 10, won the NBA Cup. I said a couple weeks ago how bad the Bucks were playing, and they were playing bad at the time, but now they're looking like they're contenders, and Chris Middleton isn't even back yet. Oklahoma City looked bad, but they just missed every shot they took. Happens in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But the ratings are down for a few reasons, in my opinion. One is I think the main reason is people think they can follow the NBA without even watching it, just by clips and by social media. I think that when it comes to the NBA, they have probably 3 or 4 times as many superstars or celebrities as like the NFL, and the NFL is king. So let's just get one thing straight really quick. When people send me or talk about the NBA as like a comparison to the NFL, like I think that's dumb. The NFL is king. The NFL is always going to be king.
It's going to be king, yeah.
Purely on its like how they do their season. It's almost laid out perfect. Every game means a lot. I'm not saying that the NBA games don't mean a lot, but there's a lot of them, and that's what turns people off of baseball is there's too many. And if you were to make changes, which they'll never do, I think a 72 game season would be perfect for the NBA, but they're not going to do that because that means less games. That means less money. That means less media rights and all that. But let me get back on track here. NBA Cup, I think, is dumb.
Yeah, I think it's failed. Like I really think it's failed.
I wouldn't say it's failed yet.
How many years have they done it? Is this the 4th or 5th?
This is the second, Brian.
No.
Who's won it?
The Lakers won it last year.
Yeah, who won it before that?
Yeah, I don't know before that.
No one.
Is it only the second?
Because they didn't play.
I feel like it's been going on for forever. I don't know why.
It's in its second year. And the Final Four was 4 teams that no one really cares about.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the ratings thing, I think if you try to compare it to the NFL, I think that's dumb. But
Mm-hmm.
if like people are sending it to me, like it should be competing with the NFL, I think that's dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just there's thoughts on the season's too long, that the league is too woke, that the players sitting out, um,
That
and like
hurts.
the game man, what do they call it?
Load
Load
management.
management.
Yeah.
There's that reason. People say that they don't try in the regular season. If you ever watch a game, usually people don't. That's not the case. The too many 3 pointers.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, people change too many. People change teams too much. So these are like basically all the reasons why people think it's down. So I'll go one by one on why it is, why it could be a reason, why it's not. Load management, I do think that's a reason. I think also that kind of coincides with how long the season is. If they did do 72 games, that would help, but they're not going to. So players need to stop talking about sitting out back to backs and all that stuff. I think that's like the main thing that they should focus on is the load management. The woke thing, that the real quick, NFL was woke for a minute and it was
Yeah.
fine.
I think they still kind of.
Uh,
I mean, I think all sports to a certain extent are a little bit like just.
they try to cater to everyone.
Yeah,
It's
you're
not that.
exactly correct.
It's not that.
No.
The 3 pointer thing. I don't know if people want to go back to post ups and watch people post people up for 48 minutes. Go watch a game in the 90s. You're going to be bored compared to
Mm-hmm.
what it is now. 3 pointers, it's a part of the game. I enjoy seeing people shoot threes. Everyone who goes to the gym doesn't just shoot layups
No,
or
yeah.
shoot top of the key 2 pointers. They shoot threes. I know
I
you
do.
for a fact do that.
Yes.
So
I do think
I
I do think just on this 3 pointer talk, I do think like when NBA was kind of at its peak in recent years was kind of through the Steph Curry era when he was coming and like when he kind of exploded onto the scene. Like that was exciting to watch. It was different. He was
yeah,
kind of the only one doing it at that point, more so than kind of what it's evolved to. But I agree with you. I don't think that's a bad thing. Like I think NBA is more
no.
exciting to watch now than it used to be.
Yeah, and that gets me to my last point is um, everyone who I've talked about the NBA, like why they ask me why like to watch it so much, is they don't try, they don't play defense. Just watch the game. The reason is I mean, the NBA Cup final last night was like 97-81.
Yeah,
Guess what? They played defense, and it wasn't because it was the NBA Cup. That's just the 81 points is because they were missing shots. And if you watch a college basketball game, like I did the other day, crosstown shootout, go Bearcats. They beat Xavier. Watching that product is, oh God, it's like watching fucking paint dry. It's brutal compared to what they're doing in the NBA. And the purists of, or the college basketball, like hardcore fans against the NBA, they refuse to watch the NBA. And it's
yeah,
either because they don't have a team or they bought into this narrative how they don't play defense, and I think it's just a little ridiculous because watch, they are playing defense. These guys just make shots. So the best players, they're the best players out of college. Even like what's his name, the kid from Purdue or Iowa, um
from last year,
no,
um,
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Purdue was last year.
Yeah, Purdue. Not Zach Edey.
No, that was
Luca
Purdue.
Garza
Yeah,
won
yeah, yeah.
player of the year. Won player of the year in college. Can't even sniff the floor on the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Plays in the G League most of the year, and then when he's not, he's literally at the end of the bench for Minnesota, I believe. And guess what? The best player in your league can't even touch the NBA floor because
Yeah.
guess what his game is? Post ups,
Mm-hmm.
and he can't play defense.
Yeah.
So anyway, and then I think, and I forgot to mention this one. I think 4 of the 5 first team All NBA players are not American, and I think that hurts a little bit,
Yeah, it
just
does.
because because the league is doing really well worldwide, but in the U.S. it is not. But who really
Is
quick
that
before we go to what's that?
I was gonna say Zach Edey isn't doing that bad though. He's playing. He's playing more than I thought he would. Honestly, was he pleased?
He's a big. I mean, the centers are back, dude. They're back.
Yeah,
Like
because he was one of the
5 years ago, he would not have a job in this league because everyone's playing small. But it's like the running backs. It all kind of comes back.
But he was one last year that coming into college, what was he? He was a lottery pick, right? He was like pick. What was he? 12 or 13, maybe.
I think before that.
Was
maybe.
he a little bit before that?
Yeah.
I just remember he was one of those guys coming out that everyone was touting as, hey, he's probably like, he's the best player in college, but he's not going to be a top 3, top 4, top 5.
He can shoot though. He can shoot free throws and he can defend. Like he's a big body. He's a rim protector, and that's people need that right now.
Yeah.
But can you name the top 5 American players right now?
From what? Just like
just top 5. Just name 5 of the best American players right now.
SGA probably.
He's Canadian.
Is he?
Yeah. I knew you were going to say that. I teed that up so well.
Yeah, you did. Trae Young?
No, he's not top 5.
I'm trying to think of like just because you got Jokic who isn't, Giannis who isn't, Luka who isn't, Anthony Edwards who isn't. Yeah, SGA isn't. Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards is. See, this is the reason right here. Yeah. You can't even think of 5. Like 5 years ago, you'd be like Kevin Durant. Yeah, Steph is up there.
Steph probably.
5 years ago, you'd be like Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, LeBron James.
Would you? I mean, that's what I mean. Like, would you consider those guys still in the top 5? Or like, probably
Steph
not. Right?
Is playing right.
Well, Steph
right now. Yeah.
But like LeBron, no. Kevin Durant, no. LaMelo.
Kevin Durant, yes.
LaMelo.
LaMelo's. He's like good stats, bad team guy.
I'm trying to think. I mean, it's a good point. Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
Cade
Jason
Cunningham.
Tatum. Not Cade Cunningham.
You don't think so? I think he's pretty good.
Top 5?
Not top 5. I'm just throwing out I'm just trying to throw out the best players.
He's fine.
I know.
He's fine.
Okay, that's a good point though. Yeah, it's not as easy as it once was.
Tough.
Yeah,
but I just like. Obviously, they're down. I think how they're marketing the NBA is very poor, and they're trying all these weird things. They keep changing the All-Star game.
Yeah.
None of the stars are participating in like the fun stuff, and it's the load management thing really killed it, and it really turns off a lot of people.
Well, they tried to like mitigate the load management by putting in that thing where like you have to play a certain amount of games to win an award.
Yeah, 60% of the games,
and it didn't really work. It didn't really work. It's just tough. It's, I think what your original point was the point to focus on. Like, and we talked about at the beginning of the podcast. Like, this is like the mecca for football, college and NFL right now. Playoff push, college bowl games, the playoff. Like, that's what people care about right now. They show this at the end of every year. Like, they always send out like the top 50 most watched live events, and 48 of the 50 are pro or college football games, and the other 2 are usually political, like, or some debates, sort of political debates and stuff like that. So they're just, I get what they're trying to do with it.
Thing is, they need to stop competing with the NFL and just kind of be an in between football and baseball. So like baseball is going to be the 3rd, but this is, I have a proposal right now that could fix it without like, because they're not going to shorten the season. They should, but they're not going to. But my thing is, if the NBA wanted to get the market and really turn up the ratings, they need to do their salaries where how they get their money is by playing. If you don't play, if you play in, I mean, it's tough with injuries, but like if you play 82 games, you get 100% of your salary. If you play in 40 games, you get 50% of your salary. That's how you get guys to play.
You have to do it with some sort of like a series, like actual injury designation type of thing.
If you're on they need to come up with some kind of IR thing. If you're on IR, you're going to get your money. But if you're just missing like a game week, like bi-weekly, like what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna
No,
miss, if you have 4 games in a week and you play in 2 of them, like come on.
yeah, I can't
Like,
call into my job and say, hey, I'm not
that's
going
what I
to work
mean.
today.
And or like a coal miner
Yeah.
isn't gonna be like, this guy's not playing a basketball game, but I have to go down and
Yeah, it pisses
this
people off.
cave
Yeah, it pisses
every
people
day
off.
of the week. That's the thing. But anyway, I think you should start. They need to start the season on Christmas
I do. I agree. I think
and
the year
end it
they.
at the end of summer, right when football starts.
I do think that lockout year where they started on Christmas
Yeah,
was fantastic. I remember that like it was because I've said this before on this podcast. I don't really pay attention to basketball until after Christmas because it's usually
it's
when
hard
football
to.
season. Yeah, it's hard to, and
Yeah.
because you can only
You're
dedicate so
competing
much
against not
time.
only the NFL but also fantasy football.
Right, you can only dedicate so much time as a fan to it
Yeah,
because you like we all have lives. Like, I'm probably a bigger NFL fan than a lot of people out there. So like I love football. Like I love football. Obviously, like I enjoy college football. I never had a team though, so I'm not super into it. Obviously,
yeah,
by you putting me on the spot with who the quarterback for those teams, like I'll watch the games, but I'm not super invested in it. But I like watching the games. Like I just like watching football, so I'll watch them. But like I like NFL to your point is king. My life revolves around NFL Sundays, and then when it comes to the off season, like the couple days where free agency starts, some of my favorite days of the year, the draft. Like I fucking love the draft, and like I spend all my time like in March and April watching mock drafts and like doing research on college players, and that's where I really start building up like my knowledge of like who's coming out in the draft and stuff like that. And then like schedule release, like my life revolves around football, and it always will. And I think there's people like me that it's just hard. You're not going to get their views at all the time. And like, I think that's what this NBA Cup was trying to do, to your point, was trying to compete with the NFL during this time of year where the NFL
yeah.
is so popular. And as a casual NBA fan, you asked me like who's won the, like, I know who won it last year. I thought it was going on for 4 years already. Like, that's how, that's how it feels to me.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And it just is like,
You thought SGA was American.
Okay, well, I mean, is that off? That can't be that unlikely. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of people who think.
I know. I get it. I'm just messing with you. No, I think if you start the season later and your playoffs end in August, like that's perfect. Like you compete against fucking baseball. It's ridiculous.
And like
not
say,
only
like,
are you competing against the NFL, you're competing against college football too.
Right.
And that's 1A, 1B.
Correct. And I do think there is some like competing with baseball is better. I love watching college basketball in the summer when like the weather turns, like you can go out to bars and watch the games and stuff like that. Yeah. Like extend that period. You will get more views in this middle of the summer.
Like why do we have this dead period in June and July?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's their market.
Yes.
That's where it is. That's how you fix it. Yeah. And you don't have to and you have to incentivize it, be like, hey, like right now, oh, you don't want to play in the NBA because we're only going to give you a percentage of your, like the fact that LeBron just took 8 days off, like that is why. Like that is why.
It pisses people off, yeah.
That's annoying. It pisses me off. I'm like, dude, like you want to be up there with Jordan? Like I understand he took 2 years off, but he retired. He came out and said he retired. He didn't just take a week off.
Yeah, right.
You know? So
it's a good conversation though. It is like a good, I don't.
But like my thing is, the thing that just drives me insane is when people say they don't try. It's like watch a fucking game, man.
Yeah,
like you can watch Raptors Pacers, and be entertained. Like it's high level basketball. All these guys that are playing on the NBA court right now would be the best player in any college right now.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So anyway,
100%.
Quick NBA, and I'm going on some rants today, and I don't know if I like that or not because
I like it.
Very, very vulnerable. All right, can we?
All right, we got to get to our bets. We're getting long. So this is something you can clip if you want. I got a clip for you. Okay. We went 6-0 last week for the first time combined, which is fantastic. It's like the 1 week we didn't parlay all of our bets together, but we went 6-0, right? Which we should have done. Another clip you can take is I'm 33-12 on the year, which is insane. Like I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but that's fucking insane. Like that's
ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. I'm 33-12 on the year with these bets. Can't tell you who the starting quarterback is for Ohio State, but I like 33-12 on my NFL bets for the year.
That hurt a little bit, huh? Did I get you a
It
little bit
did
there?
because I did know it, and I just felt like I felt vulnerable there for a second. I don't like that one. That one got me. Um, and then so I'm 33-12 on the year, and then Mike, you another 3-0. You've had a couple good weeks in a row. You're 24-18-1. So you
I'm
have really you were
I'm on a
under
heater.
yeah you were under 500 for a little bit there,
Yep.
but you've completely flipped it around to a solid record. So you went first last week, which means and we hit. So just to hit on a couple other bets. Again, place not all the bets we place get posted, but we placed some of them. We hit a anytime touchdown parlay that Mike and I did on the podcast last week. So that one hit. I think that was the first one we've hit of those out of the 3 weeks we've done. We've hit 2 of our parlays. That one did not hit last week for a couple of reasons. Mainly the Eagles having a 21 play drive at the end of regulation there to miss the under by 3. And then I did one of the bets I posted. I think it was a plus 1100 anytime TD parlay hit as well. So we had some good bets hit last week, which is good. And then since you won last week, you get to go first. So
I do get to go first. And I was looking at some of these games, and there's some good ones, but there are also some dud games.
Yeah.
But I'm going to start with All right, I'm going to start with Vikings at Seahawks -3.
Vikings, Seahawks -3. You like the Vikings -115?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know we were talking about this one earlier in the week. I had a feeling that's where you're going to go first because it does sound like Gino's going to play.
It doesn't matter.
But just wanted
Vikings are hot.
Okay. I like that one. I do like that one. I actually placed that one already. The spread has moved.
I told you to.
Yeah, the spread has moved on that one. I got them at 3.5. 3.5.
Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm. That was today. So, all right. I'm going to go with my first one. And this has a lot to do based on... I'm going to go Cardinals -4.5 against the Panthers.
Okay.
I just think I think Cardinals are playing for a playoff push, and they need to win. You know, they need to win to make the playoffs. And Panthers look better, but I still just don't think they have what it takes to keep up with.
Will
the
Marvin Harrison Jr. catch a touchdown? Asking for a friend.
Dude, the amount of times I put him in my anytime touchdown parlays, because I'm it's gonna happen this week. Same with Trey McBride. I do Trey McBride almost every week, so I'm like, all right, he's got 90 catches and he doesn't have scored a touchdown yet.
Greg Dortch gets all of them.
They're both going in for next week. Dortch does get all of them. So that's my first one.
All right, my next one is Eagles -3.5.
Eagles. Oh, I like that one.
At -110.
-110.
Eagles are hot right now. Commanders barely being Spencer Rattler and Jake Haener.
Jake Haener. I think he got benched.
Yeah, he did.
Did you see that? It was all those pictures, the memes of him, sassiest quarterback in the league. Those are funny. All right, I'm gonna go. I know I just talked about how I don't trust the Lions, but I'm gonna go Lions -6.5.
Damn, I was gonna do that.
Yeah, I just think watching the Bears last week was brutal. I think they have a lot of issues. Yeah. We didn't talk about him.
Caleb Williams is hitting the Y button.
Yeah, it's weird because he has time on some of those throws. I know he gets sacked a lot. The offensive line isn't great, but there was a few in that Minnesota game where he just missed. He sailed some passes. I think he's getting that little bit of yips.
I don't think the line is that bad. I think he just holds onto the ball.
He does.
For so long.
He does. There were some
At some
bad
point,
plays
it's his
from
fault.
last week. Yeah, there were some bad plays last week.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm with you on that one. All right. Man, some of these are looking a little bleak here. All right, I'm going to go Bucks -4 against the Cowboys.
I like that one. It's a good one. Bucks -4?
Yeah, -110.
-4, -110.
I guess it's at Cowboys, but Cowboys kind of stink.
Cowboys do stink. They've won 3 or 4 though. Only
Yeah,
loss
but
to the
against who
Bengals.
though?
Just throwing that out there.
There it is.
There it is.
Hold on, I need to see who they've beat the last 3 weeks. Go ahead and make your
I'm
pick.
gonna take my last one. I'm gonna go Rams -3.5 against the Jets.
I was thinking that one. That's a good
They're
one.
coming off a little bit like a long rest because they played on Thursday night. Didn't look great on Thursday night. Jets looked pretty good last week, but I just think again, team that's fighting for the division, fighting for a playoff spot. I think they're going to come out with Stafford, the experience they have, McVay, quarterback. I just think this is a game they don't lose, especially like given how they performed in the beginning of the season, made these late season runs to make the playoffs. I think this screams Rams by like 10.
Yeah, they play. You said they play the Jets, right?
Yep, Jets 3.5.
Yeah, yeah. You just never
All right,
like the Jets are such a wild card. But hold on, really
they are.
quick.
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys beat the Commanders, beat the Giants, lost to the Bengals, beat the Panthers. Commanders is a decent win.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can
So
read
wait,
them
what
off.
was your last one again? Bucks
Bucks -4
-4.
against Cowboys.
That's right. I think I put it in the wrong column. That's why.
Almost forgot.
No, I didn't forget. I just put it on mine instead of yours on accident. -110. All right, sweet. Delete. Go up. All right. So let me read them off real quick. So I ended up with Cardinals -4.5, Lions -6.5, and Rams -3.5. And Mike had Vikings -3, Eagles -3.5, and Bucks -4. Let's go 6-0 again.
Let's do it. I need you to go 0-3 because I'm trying to catch up to you, but
I don't.
that'd be
You're not
bad
gonna
for
catch up to
us.
me. You're not gonna catch up to me.
Hey, man.
What are you? 24, 18-1. I'm
We did this last time.
33-12. Yeah, pretty much. But hey, you kept up with me though, because I needed to
I'm
like
coming
lose
back,
out.
man.
You are
I
coming.
don't look like a fraud.
24,
That's
18-1
not
is solid.
at one point. I'm like, I look like, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Now
Yeah.
I'm respectable.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to make a quick parlay?
Yeah. Do you want to do, since we did a college parlay, do you want to do an NFL parlay or do you just want to do a touchdown parlay?
Let's do a quick NFL one. Just
Okay.
what games do you like? Which ones stick out the most? I like we got to do Lions -6.5. I think that's, if
You
there's a
like that one?
lock, I like that
Okay.
one a lot. What
Let me put
about,
that in.
I like Minnesota over the Seahawks.
I do like that. Don't want to use all the ones that we did in our bets though.
Why not?
Just because like that way something
Change it
different.
up a little bit.
Just in case. Because if you lose one of those, you lose them all.
Is there a new quarterback theory for the Falcons against the Giants?
I actually don't hate the new I think Drew Lock is playing for the Giants. I don't mind teasing that down to like 6.5
I'm down.
for the Falcons.
Or,
I mean,
or
you
we
are
do the
trusting
over.
Oh, give me the over. Yeah, let's do over 42.
42?
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do like that. I don't hate the Colt. Actually, I don't know. I actually don't hate the Titans +3.5. They're making a quarterback switch. Mason Rudolph is coming in to play quarterback. Will Levis looked god awful against the Bengals last week.
He was
He's
8
so
for 12
bad.
with 4 touchdowns or 4 interceptions.
He was 8 for 12 with 3 interceptions and a fumble.
Wow. Wow. One ball touched the ground. That's all.
I think he hit back-to-back interceptions, and it was like 3 and 5 throws or something. It was stupid. All right, so
love
we have
the memes that say, "Hey mom, a new Levis meme just dropped."
Yeah. So we have Giants, Falcons over 42, Lions -6.5 against the Bears. The Ravens. So this is an interesting one. Ravens -6.5 is a lot against the Steelers. Steelers have historically done very well against the Ravens.
Yeah.
Lamar,
TJ Watt's playing.
yeah, Lamar's only played one game against the Steelers at home, like that's because he's been injured and hasn't fallen that way. I don't mind moving that to like Steelers 7.5 +7.5. I don't think we've ever taken
A plus.
but
Do you want to add a fourth?
let me move this. Let me move this to plus 7.5. How do you feel about that, or do you not like that?
I don't mind it. As
That
long
gets
as TJ
us
Watt's playing, I'm happy.
that gets us
Because
to
how did
505.
okay. Wait, instead of with 4 picks,
No, with 3 picks, it gets us to 505 plus
which
505.
one'd you take out?
I didn't take any of them out.
Read them off.
Lions minus 6.5, over 42 for Giants Falcons, and then Steelers plus 7.5.
Oh, you don't like the Vikings?
No, I do like the
Really?
Vikings. No, I do like the Vikings. I liked them better when Geno wasn't playing.
What about if you brought him to 2.5?
You want to do 4?
Well,
All,
we can do 3 and then a bonus
all I'm going to
if you want to add the
say,
fourth leg. Okay,
okay,
go ahead.
yeah. All I'm going to say is I think it's like the last 12 games between the Ravens and Steelers have come down to 3 points or less,
Okay.
which is kind of why I like that 7.5. Now they're going to lose by like 15 or 20, and I'm going to look like an idiot. But
Well, so if TJ Watt is playing, I'm good with that because I've seen a lot of stuff like how, especially with like them playing the Eagles, how they play defense. Like the reason why AJ Brown and Devontae Smith played well last week is not because of the complaints of the passing. Like that's crazy. If you think the media or whatever is going to change the whole scheme of an offense, like you should probably stop watching football. But they the what am I saying? The Steelers defense rushes the quarterback because they have great defensive linemen and they play single high safety. And if they can't get to your quarterback, guess what?
yeah,
They're gonna have the quarterbacks that they've played. The best quarterbacks they've played are Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, and Lamar. Now, when they played Lamar, it was 18-16, and all Lamar does is throw out routes and slants, right?
yeah, yeah,
But against Burrow and Jaden Daniels, they were high scoring games,
yeah.
and it would have been a lot higher scoring if the Eagles decided to actually play more up tempo offense. But if you can control the ball for 10 minutes, like you're having your way with the defense.
Yeah. And Joey Porter Jr. can be had. He's a penalty machine.
Yeah.
He's a little bit overrated for, he
No, I
can
agree.
he can be beaten. So,
Yeah. So I don't mind that.
all right. So we're at plus 505 with those three. And then if you add in Vikings minus 3, it takes you to plus 1,032.
Wow, I'm doing that one.
Okay.
Speak my language. All right, let's do.
You can do either 3 or 4 or pick that last one between the Steelers plus 7.5 and Vikings minus 3.
Yeah, there you go. I like that. That's cool.
All right. Cool.
All right, let's anytime touchdown really quick.
You want to do touchdown? Let's see.
Do you want to do AJ Brown?
Yeah, that's actually the one I was looking at. So let's do AJ Brown. I don't think he scored. Did he score last week? I don't think he scored last week.
Yeah, he did.
Did he? I like Puka.
Okay.
No, I don't. Never mind. Not against the Jets. Should we put Marvin Harrison Jr. in there?
No, dude, he is dead to me.
I'm getting yelled at saying no. That's stupid.
I heard that.
Yeah, which is probably true. I put him in on all of them, but yeah, I agree.
What do you think about Drake London?
I do like. I don't know. I just Penix. I think you got to give it a week before you take any of those guys.
All right.
Kind of tough this week.
Is Trey McBride due?
I think he is. I do think he is.
I'm afraid
Kyler Murray
to put that
even
one
put
down.
an Instagram out about it. Let's do that. Let's do Trey McBride.
Okay.
I like that one.
And then let's do Khalil Shakir. No?
What about? Let me see. I don't really trust any of the Packers players. Like they've all.
Yeah, you never know who's going to.
You never know. It's too hard. Brian Thomas Jr. He's been on fire.
I know he has, but
against the Raiders. He had like 12 targets last week, 2 touchdowns. Plus 165. Raiders are bad.
It sounds like you have him on your fantasy team. I'm just
I
kidding.
have him on multiple.
I'm down. I did. I did look at that. I'm in on that one.
Okay. So if you do AJ Brown, Trey McBride, Brian Thomas Jr. plus 1332.
Love it.
Love it.
All right, this is a long one.
This is a long
Follow us
one.
at Athlete Pod. Sorry if I offended you with my
Me?
rants, but I'm not you. I'm not worried about you. I know you don't get offended unless we're talking about Will Howard.
Yeah, I'm actually offended, but that I feel I'm upset with myself that one. I don't like that. I
Brian, it's okay. Not many people know. I mean, that name is way too generic.
No, but I knew it. Yeah.
Do you know the Tennessee's quarterback name?
No, I don't. That one I don't know.
I don't know how to say his last name, but I know his first name is Nico.
I have no idea.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, so follow us at Athlete Pod, at Traveling Athlete Pod on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And I'm gonna be honest, man, I'm fucking exhausted.
Dude, I'm so tired. I need to go to bed.
Yeah. So, Brian, talk to you next week.
Yep, we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Peace.
See ya.